change your mind. And I know it's me that followed you in blind. I could say that you didn't need what you wanted me. Maybe I was wrong, even once wasn't anything. So if we had another chance, I would never let you steal my plans. Bring me back to life.
Welcome to the Fray Flak Pack. It's Termex here, and welcome back to another Borderlands 3 build video. And today, in honor of Halloween, October, spookiness, I have made my favorite, probably one of the best flak terror builds. I like to call it Flak-O-Lantern, you know, Jack-O-Lantern, Flak-O-Lantern. You know, ignore the name, I like the name, but this build revolves around basically a whole terror flak build. And this build will be completely sustainable even when the Bloody Harvest event is over. But we are trying to get the max DPS with this build, so I like to think of this as a terror turret flak build. If you know, Jolt's dude has like a unkillable flak turret build with the Monarch and standing still. Kind of like that, but with a bunch of terror and a lot of DPS. But to start off here, let's go over into the skill tree. I will pop it on screen right now. As you can see, we do have the Stalker Tree Capstone. We have 5 out of 3 into the Fast and the Furious, giving us 42% gun damage and a little bit of movement speed. We did spec and select the wounds, of course. We do have some fire rate bonuses and furious attack. And if you take a quick look into our hunter skill tree, we do have 5 out of 5 in the hunter's eye, but we only really put 2 points into it because our class mod gives us another 3 points, basically maxing that out for free for us. We do have a bunch of second intention with extra reload speed, leave no trace because that's going to help out with basically every automatic gun we have. And we just slightly went far enough into the blue tree so we can get our max stacks of Frenzy along with He Bites, and so we can finally equip the Great Horn Skag so we get the max amount of damage with this build. Now, if you're watching this in the future and you are looking for a build that has Purple Tree implemented into it and all that kind of stuff, I will probably have a link in the description below for when that day comes, because if you're watching this when the 4th tree is out, this isn't going to be much help for you. But just so you guys know, I'm going to fully update this build once that 4th skill tree comes out on November 10th. And as for the Guardian rank, my Guardian rank is disabled. It's disabled in all of my flak builds. I like to keep things neutral. I like to keep things vanilla. I like to test things at their base stats and build upon them. No bonus stats, no Guardian rank perks, none of that stuff. And as for the Mayhem Modifiers, we are currently on Mayhem 10, and we are running Speed Demon for the movement speed, Heal the Avenger because it's neutral, ticked off because we're not using elemental status effect damage in this build, and of course we have Post-Mortem. I only have this because it's the only modifier I could stand playing with. But what about the gear term? What kind of gear are we looking at with this build? Well, we are looking at some pretty meta weapons, but we are putting a implementation of the Fearmonger. Now, the Fearmonger is a great weapon. It is very overlooked by other shotguns, but this thing is insane. If you don't know, the more terror you have with the Fearmonger, the more pellets you actually shoot. So it goes from 4 pellets sometimes all the way up to 8 pellets depending on how much fear you have. And it is a sticky spike projectile, so getting those Megavore crits and leave no trace is going to be very easy with this gun. And we also have 2 Monarchs with the same anoint, but they are different elements in different parts. Obviously, I can't farm 2 perfect part Monarchs. It's basically impossible to do that. But we both have the anointment of, while terrified, gain increased damage and fire rate. Now, a lot of people are going to ask, oh, why don't you use while terrified to gain more crit? You can get 100% more crit, and that would be so much better. No. Fadeaway crits and Megavore crits do not get boosted by the terrified crits. They're 2 separate things, technically, in the damage formula, so those anointments would not work. And as for our light show, this is going to be your Infinity Pistol. But you may ask, how is this an Infinity Pistol? Well, this has the anointment when, while you're terrified, you gain ammo regeneration. The more terror you have, the higher the bonus. And we are running a Hunter Seeker with the on-action skill end. Apply terror to yourself every 3 seconds for 18 seconds. So this is basically going to be our form of getting terror with this build. Of course, if you want some ASEs, you can pop a normal grenade on, have a face puncher with a melee apply terror anoint, shoot enemies, switch, completely fine. I just like to have terror up and running at all times. As for your relic, I went with a Pearl of Knowledge because we are using basically a stack bot Gorillas in the Mist combo here, and the fire rate and the magazine size along with that extra 90% damage is all around very efficient. If you can't get this, I recommend getting a Snowdrift or even an Auto Idol for survivability. The stack bot. Now we have the stack bot here along with weapon damage, assault rifle damage, and Vladoff weapon fire rate. I cannot stress this enough. I was farming just for a better stack bot. And I was farming VIP tower. You know, when you spawn in, you look to the right, you see that one guy, you run up, kill the 2 robots. That was my farm for the stack bot. And I got one rule. That was assault rifle damage, weapon damage, and action skill cooldown rate. I was going to use that. But I thought, we don't really need action skill cooldown rate. So I kept farming, and this dropped on probably the 4th run after I was done with the other class mod. And I wish I could record my reactions. I should really start streaming my farming because I freaked out when I saw this. If there was a class mod that was perfect for the Monarch in this build, it would be this class mod. This class mod would be the perfect class mod for this, and it is. Now, you do have some secondary class mods like the Bounty Hunter. The Bounty Hunter is a valid option if you really want. I just don't have any roles that are good with my Bounty Hunter, but you want to run this build with a stack bot. The stack bot is basically your main output of damage here. You don't need it, but it's gonna make bossing 200 times more easy. But you're mainly using your old gods here, all different elements, all different stats, but they have the corresponding ASEs. I've had these for a while. I thanked all of my friends that helped me get these shields, and I just been keeping them in my save files because they help out a lot. And when it comes to this build, they are no exception. We're going to be getting the bonus 20% elemental damage to whatever element we have equipped. And on top of that, we get our ASE 50s. But I do want to point out, we have a corrosive, a fire, a shock, and a cryo weapon of all elements here. So I like to equip the radiation old god so we could do all 5 elements of damage without going into our inventory. You don't have to do that. If you're going in an area where you don't believe you need it, switch it to the element you're mainly using. But for me, I like to have every single element right here so I don't have to go in my inventory in the middle of a fight, equip my gun, go back, and then it just saves a lot of time. Now let me show off a little bit of what I mean by this being your infinity pistol. If you look at our fire rate, it is pretty fast. But look at our ammo. Look at the bottom right as I'm shooting all these enemies. I am not really running out of my magazine at all. I would have reloaded by now in traditional, killings. But look, I'm still at 6 bullets, and we just cleared... Oh, one more guy. We're about to clear this whole area, and I did not have to reload. So that's what I mean. This is going to be your mobbing go-to weapon, the light show, because it never runs out of ammo, and it's doing an insane amount of damage, and it works great with the stack bot class mod. Now, of course, you don't need to be in bipod mode when you kill enemies, but you're getting the extra 4 projectiles per shot when you do. So it's just recommended that you have it out because you're not consuming any more ammo, and you're doing a bunch of free damage. But yes, guys, that is a basic rundown of my Flak-O-Lantern Terror build. I like to call it Terror Turret Flak, if you want to call it that as well. But hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, if you won't mind, it would mean a lot if you hit the like button on this video. Subscribe if you're new, if you want to join the Flag Pack, and hit that bell so you don't miss out on any of my future Borderlands 3 contents. And join that Flag Pack Discord. Link will be in the description below for you guys to check that out. That's where you can download all my save files from the past without scrolling through all my videos. And that's how you guys can personally contact me, contact other players to play with, or just look around and trade chat. To be honest, it's a great place, great hangout spot for all people. I hope you guys have a terrific day. And me and Doomskag over here that is currently fighting will see you guys later.